Hey guys, welcome back. So in my last video, I showed you how to make a roux, and I'm going to show you here how I am going to be using that roux. Now, after you make your roux, you want to let it cool a little bit. It doesn't have to be completely cooled, but this has sat here for a couple seconds now. I'm going to turn my heat back on. Now this is where you really want to go ahead and control your heat. So I'm going to do a medium to medium low because I don't want this to move too quickly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start adding some milk in, which, by the way, if I didn't tell you, we're making macaroni and cheese. So this is the important thing about using a roux, at least what I find to be important, is to add your liquid in slowly. So if you're watching, you will see how with that roux base, my milk that I added in here has gotten all thick and pasty. That's exactly what I want. So I'm just going to add some more milk in. Now, approximately for your measurement for the recipe, we're probably going to be using about 3 to 4, well, that might be a little bit more, about 2 to 3 cups of milk in this, but I never measure my milk. I just let the sauce show me when it's done, when it's the right consistency, it's cheesy enough, it's creamy enough, it tastes good. That's where I stop. So I'm just pouring in milk blindly here, but as I was saying, what you want to do is add it very slowly, because the roux, it thickens it up very nicely. However, if you add this roux to a big pot of water that's already, like if you were adding it to a stew, for example, it would thicken it up, but it would still be soupy. Now, because this is going to be our cheese sauce for our macaroni and cheese, I want it to be thick and nice and creamy so that it can coat those noodles. I don't want it to be overly runny. So that's why I'm paying so much attention at this point to how the thickness is doing and why I'm adding my liquid very slowly, because I don't want to overwhelm the roux base. And also you want to make sure that you're stirring it enough to get all of those lumps out. So you definitely want to make sure that you're setting enough time aside to do this on the stove. Honestly, it doesn't take that long, but you do have to keep an eye on it. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add my seasonings in, which is going to be my salt, pepper, and what I like to add for my macaroni, which is just a little bit of paprika. As you know, I like paprika, but I really like the little bit of subtle flavor that it gives it, as well as just the extra little color oomph that it gives it. So I don't put much in there. You don't want to overwhelm it, but just enough. So I'm going to add some more milk, and you can see how it is starting to get thinner as a sauce. It's not staying gloopy like it was. Now at this point, when I've got a decent amount of liquid in there, I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit, and I'm going to keep watching this. Once I get it to the point that I'm happy with the amount of milk that's in there, again, like I said, probably about 2 to 3 cups of milk is what I'm going to end up using. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my cheese in and melt that down. Now, you can buy just shredded cheese for this recipe. It works fine. But one suggestion I would make, if you want to have it be a little extra special, or you're just a little bit more health conscious, you can try using a brick of cheese that you buy from the store, just one of the blocks of cheese, and either grate it yourself or get your food processor out and let that do the grating work for you. And the reason is because the shredded cheese that's sold in the store, it does have a coating on the outside of it, a starchy coating, to keep it from sticking to the other pieces of cheese. But in something like this, you really want it to have that real nice meltability. So I would recommend using a brick cheese if you have the extra time and the extra cash to do that. So I'm almost to the point here where I could add my cheese. I just want to stir in a little bit more milk. And now I'm slowly going to start adding my cheese in, but I will probably be adding more milk as I go. The amount of cheese is about equal to the amount of milk. Again, I never actually pay attention to how much cheese I'm putting in. I just do it until it looks and tastes good. And you want to give your cheese some time to melt down because it is going to take a little bit of time in there. So we're just going to keep stirring and stirring and stirring. And I will have you come back once this is ready to coat my noodles. Okay, so my sauce is all nice and ready here. Now what I find is the best method, well, to be honest, I switch it up from time to time, but I find generally this is the best method, to just pour it over my noodles in the same pan that I cooked the noodles in, so that I have plenty of room to get around in there and get everything coated. I am using cavatappi noodles. I'm sure I didn't say that right, so you are free to laugh at me now. You can use regular traditional macaroni noodles. You can use shells. There's a lot of different pasta shapes out there, so have fun with it. You don't have to stick to just traditional. Now that looks really, really good. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move that over into my little lasagna pan here. Get all that creamy cheesiness. And to top that off, sometimes I will just use regular cheese on top of there and just top it off. But I had some panko breadcrumbs tonight, so I just melted some butter, put the panko breadcrumbs in there, put some extra cheese in there, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's going to be our topping on there. And this is going to go in the oven now for about 20 minutes. The oven's preheated to 350 degrees. You could actually not put it in the oven. You could just eat it like it is. There's nothing uncooked. There's no reason why you can't. But the oven just gives it that extra like ooey gooey yummy little crust thing going on. So we're going to put this in the oven, get it back out, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay guys, are you ready for a mac and cheese reveal? Let's pull this out. Now you can do a couple minutes towards the end of your bake time with a higher temperature, like a 425, to get that crisped up, or a little broil. But I mean, look at that. It's bubbly, it's cheesy, it's got a crispy top. What more do you want in macaroni and cheese? So I hope that you guys try this recipe. If you have any questions, because I know I was a little bit scatterbrained tonight, please give me a comment and I will be happy to answer them. Bye-bye.